Alright, let's dive into something that's both fascinating and a little mind-boggling. Imagine this, a company is releasing 600,000 mosquitoes into backyards across the US, on purpose. Sounds like a nightmare, right? But here's the twist, these aren't your average bloodsuckers. They're male mosquitoes, which means they don't bite, and they're armed with a secret weapon called Wolbachia, a bacteria that essentially makes their offspring sterile. So, when these guys mate with regular female mosquitoes, the eggs don't hatch. It's like nature's own birth control, and it's being used to combat one of the most annoying and dangerous pests out there, the tiger mosquito. What makes this really interesting is the context behind it. Climate change is making mosquito season longer and more intense in the US, and these tiger mosquitoes aren't just a nuisance, they're vectors for diseases like dengue. So, this isn't just about saving your backyard barbecue, it's about public health. Personally, I think this is a brilliant example of how we're starting to think outside the box when it comes to pest control. Instead of just spraying chemicals everywhere, which can harm pollinators and the environment, we're using biology to outsmart the problem. Now, let's talk about the company behind this, Safe Mosquito Control. The founder, a former electrical engineer turned entomology student, started this because he was tired of seeing pesticides being sprayed near his home. I love this because it's a classic case of someone solving a problem they personally experienced. It's not just a business, it's a passion project. And it's resonating with people. Customers are signing up because they want to protect their families and pets from harsh chemicals like bifenthrin, which is classified as a possible carcinogen. One customer, a breast cancer survivor, called the results bafflingly effective. That phrase stuck with me, it's not just effective, it's bafflingly so. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. This isn't a new idea. Singapore has been doing something similar since 2016 with Project Wolbachia, releasing millions of mosquitoes weekly and cutting dengue risk by over 70%. And now, even Google is getting in on the action, applying for permits to release 32 million mosquitoes in Florida and California. This raises a deeper question: if this works so well, why isn't it more widespread? One thing that immediately stands out is the variability in results. Some customers are thrilled, while others haven't noticed much of a difference. A professor from Johns Hopkins pointed out that local conditions matter. Mosquitoes can migrate with the wind, so geography plays a huge role. This isn't a one-size-fits-all solution, and that's something people need to understand. It's also a forever enterprise, as he put it. You can't just do it once and call it a day, it requires ongoing effort. What many people don't realize is that there's another approach to using Wolbachia. Instead of sterilizing mosquitoes, you can release both males and females carrying the same strain of the bacteria. Their eggs hatch normally, but the bacteria spreads through the population, blocking the transmission of diseases like dengue and Zika. So, you still get bitten, but you don't get sick. Personally, I think this is the future, not just controlling mosquito populations, but making them harmless. If you take a step back and think about it, this is part of a bigger trend in science, using nature to solve problems instead of fighting against it. It's smarter, more sustainable, and often more effective. But it's also a reminder that solutions aren't always simple. They require patience, adaptation, and a willingness to experiment. So, here's my closing thought: what if this is just the beginning? What if, in a few decades, we look back at chemical pesticides the way we now look at leaded gasoline, as something we once thought was necessary but now see as outdated and harmful? This mosquito story isn't just about bugs, it's about how we're redefining our relationship with the natural world. And that, to me, is what makes it so fascinating. What do you think? Is this the future of pest control, or just a clever experiment? Let me know in the comments.